Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lucy for those of you that don't know me, and if you know me then welcome back. April marks 1 year since I had a very scary ectopic pregnancy. So I thought I'd sit down today and do a bit of like a chatty update on how I'm feeling a year after that experience. So I'm not going to go into the whole day and what happened to me because I've done a video on that before and I will link it below and on the screen somewhere. So basically I had an ectopic pregnancy. It was really serious. It was life-threatening, and it resulted in me having emergency surgery and having one of my fallopian tubes removed. I wanted to share a few thoughts and feelings and some updates and how I'm feeling about my body now, how I'm feeling about pregnancies in the future, just because I thought that it might be helpful for anybody that has had an ectopic pregnancy and wants to know kind of how you might feel in a year's time. So I'm going to start with how my body feels now. And I don't know why, I feel really awkward filming this video, which is really strange because it's just me and the camera, but I just know that people will watch it, and I don't ever normally feel nervous filming anything now. I've kind of got used to talking about stuff on camera, but for some reason when I talk about this it just feels very personal and very it just feels really personal, and I'm probably saying stuff that I don't really talk to anybody about, but I want to talk about it because I am one of those people that believes that if you talk about things then it makes you feel better, and I want other people to feel like they can talk about it as well. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about how my body feels now. So I thought that after an ectopic pregnancy and after surgery my body would obviously be in pain, but it would recover pretty quickly. I assumed that it would recover as quickly as it did after I had my son Harry. But I found recovery did take a good maybe 6 to 9 months. In fact, I still don't quite feel like my body is fully recovered now. It's definitely not back to how it was. For a good few months, I'd say at least 6 months, I had a lot of pain internally where the scar is as well. So I had a lot of bruising. Sorry if this is too much information, but I did have a lot of bruising inside, and of course my whole lower stomach just felt in agony. Like it felt like I'd done 1,000 sit-ups every day for weeks and weeks and weeks. Also, I can't feel, I have like lost a lot of sensation in the right side of my stomach, which is really strange because the tube that I had removed was on my left side, so I thought that maybe the left side would feel numb, but it's actually the right side, so I don't know if that's something to do with scar tissue and nerves and things like that. So basically, if you haven't watched my previous video, I will tell you that I had to have emergency surgery, so it wasn't nice, pretty neat keyhole surgery like you would usually have. I had to have a big slash across my tummy, just like an emergency C-section really. So a big cut across my tummy, like my bikini line. I guess the trauma of that was maybe a lot more than keyhole surgery would be, so maybe the recovery would be a lot longer. I still get pains in my scar, which is really strange. I actually put it in the Channel Mum private Facebook group recently, which you should join, by the way. I'm gonna link it. It's really good for like advice on parenting and mum stuff and just rambling if you like. But anyway, I put a comment on there saying I still get pains and quite a lot of quite uncomfortable twinges in my scar area, and a few people said, oh, that's really common, it just takes a really long time for everything to sort of heal and all the nerves and stuff to get back to normal. So yeah, I'm still experiencing that. I wouldn't say it's painful as such, it's just uncomfortable, and sometimes I'm like, oh, like shocks me, like an electric sort of pain. It's really strange. I was gonna get it checked out, but I have sort of heard from quite a lot of people now that it's really common, so I don't think it's anything to be worried about. My scar is still quite red and thick and prominent. I feel like maybe I'll show you guys one day, but not yet. I'm not ready for that. But yeah, it's quite red and like bumpy and ugly, and if we're going to talk openly, I'm going to say it, I absolutely hate it, if I'm honest. I don't want to be vain, but I just hate it. Like every time I look in the mirror or I feel my lower stomach and I feel my scar, it just makes me just feel really rubbish. I don't know why. It's just such a silly thing to feel rubbish about, because I know people get scars on their faces and they get burns from being in fires and things like that, and you can't even see this scar. But to me, I just really hate it. It's not like when you have a C-section, because when you have a C-section, you have a baby and you're like looking at this scar and thinking, oh my god, my baby came out of that, that's amazing, like you're almost probably proud of it. But for me, I just look at that scar and I just remember this awful period in my life and this really, really horrible, scary time, and it just reminds me of it, and I just don't really like it. It's not like I look at it and think, oh, that's, you know, that's a really nice scar from when I had a baby. I'm like, that's a scar from where my body failed. So yeah, sorry, that sounds really kind of negative and weird, and you might not agree with what I've said. It might be a bit of a selfish and vain thing, but that is just how I feel about my body. So yeah, as I said, I felt quite bruised and very like, it was almost like I'd lost my stability in my core. It was like the muscles had just gone like jelly. So yeah, that took quite a while to build back up again. I don't really exercise or anything, but it just took a while to build back up in general life. I guess where they had to cut through things and obviously take out a part of my body, that's caused quite a lot of trauma inside. So that's why it took quite a long time to heal than perhaps just having like a C-section would, or having keyhole surgery. While we're talking about that, I do find it really strange to kind of get my head around the fact that part of my body was taken out, like an organ. I guess you call a fallopian tube an organ. Yeah, they took it away without my consent, even though apparently I signed a consent form. And obviously they had to take it out to save my life. I'm not saying that I didn't want them to take it out. I'm just saying that it's a really weird thought that part of my body was taken out of me. I don't know if anybody feels the same way as me, please let me know, because I just find it a really weird thing to think about, that part of me was taken away and I didn't really have a say in it. So I guess that kind of brings me on to my next subject, because it is how I feel about my future pregnancies, because I do want to have another child. Actually, I get asked quite a lot, almost every day, when are you gonna have another baby? Like, Harry is nearly 3 and a lot of people have had another child by then. They don't want like big gaps or anything. To be honest, I'm not bothered about having a big gap. I always thought I would probably have a bit of a bigger gap. I never really craved having 2 really close together or anything, but I do see my family as a family of 4. I don't like odd numbers, so I need to make it a family of 4. I just see myself with 2 children, so I hopefully will get pregnant perhaps after we get married or sometime after that. I don't really know, haven't really planned it. As far as how do I feel about getting pregnant, I will be very honest, I am absolutely terrified. I am crapping myself. Once you have had an ectopic pregnancy, your chance of having another one does increase from 1% to 5%. I am very terrified of that. I never ever want to go through that again, and obviously I only have 1 tube left now, so I really don't want that tube to fail me, but that is always at the back of my mind. I think that ectopic pregnancies most likely to happen between 1 and 14 weeks. I think that's right, I might have to check, but I'm pretty sure that it's 1 to 14 weeks. So the first, obviously, trimester you are monitored very closely, and I think you have extra scans if you want them, but I feel like that's going to make me feel worse, because we all know what it's like when you're going for a scan. You're really nervous, you're excited to see the baby, but you're really nervous for anything that's wrong. I think that I'm going to be very anxious and nervous, and to be honest, I don't think there's anything that anybody could say or do to actually make me feel any better about that. So as I said, I've only got 1 fallopian tube now, so my fertility rate has dropped. I'm not really that sure on the percentages. I haven't really gone too much into it because I don't want to freak myself out, if I'm honest. I really hope that it happens really quickly when we do want to have another one. I fell with Harry accidentally, so I'm assuming that I was very fertile, so I'm hoping that I am still quite fertile perhaps. I have only got the one tube, so I just really hope that it doesn't fail me. But it's funny, I just don't see my future as a family of 3. I see it as 4. Like in my dreams, I see us as a family of 4. And that might sound like a load of mumbo jumbo, but that's just how I see life going, and I'm a big believer in dreams becoming reality. So I really hope that it's a sign of good thing. I hope that this hasn't come across too negative. There are a lot of positives to come out of me having an ectopic pregnancy. I know that sounds really silly, but I like to always have a positive in life. So me and my fiance Scott are literally so close. I don't think anything could break us. We've been through so much together. It really has brought us really close together. I've learned that I'm strong physically and mentally. I have gone through something traumatic and I have come out the other side and I'm okay. I've helped raise money for the Ectopic Pregnancy Trust, which is a really lovely charity. I'll link it below. I linked it in my previous ectopic pregnancy video. They are really great for advice and support, because I know that some hospitals in some areas aren't that great with the whole aftercare. I've even managed to make friends through having an ectopic pregnancy and genuine connections with people, because going through something like that, you're obviously going to connect with someone if they've been through it themselves. I actually had an email from a girl not so long ago claiming that I saved her life, which was, oh my god, it was amazing. Like my heart nearly jumped out my chest. She basically sent me this email saying that she'd watched my ectopic pregnancy video on the day I'd uploaded it, and she took herself to A&E straight away afterwards, and she was having an ectopic pregnancy and she didn't know she was pregnant, just like I didn't, and she'd had these cramps for, I think she said she'd had them for about 5 days. So yeah, she was at a really dangerous critical stage of the ectopic pregnancy where it had ruptured like me, and she took herself to hospital realizing after I told her my symptoms that she was having the same symptoms and that she was also having an ectopic pregnancy. I'm not going to name her because she's not a blogger or anything like that. She's just a lady that emailed me, but I know she's doing really well now, and I'm just really glad that my video helped her to realize what was happening and could have potentially saved her life. I'm a firm believer in everything happening for a reason. I don't know why. I don't really know how you explain that, but I just do. I always think that something bad has to happen for something good to happen. That's just the way that I like to look at life, and I also believe that life really is what you make it. So I didn't really have an aim for this video. I just wanted to share how I feel a year after, because I still get questions about ectopic pregnancy, and if you have any more questions I would be more than happy to answer them. If you want to email me or write me a comment on here or tweet me or whatever you want to do, I would love to talk to you if you've been through anything similar, or if you just want to know a little bit more about ectopic pregnancies. So thank you all again for watching this video. Again, I just want to say thank you for all the lovely comments, words of support and encouragement. You're all really lovely. If this is your first time watching my videos, I would love it if you subscribed. It would really mean the world to me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!